What is going on, everyone? Jay Bryan here, introvert expert and speaker. And I'm coming to you all today with a training that people have been asking for. People have been asking, okay, I know, they say, Jay, I saw your course on how to job interview as an introvert. I saw that. But with everything going on with this pandemic, the the main problem that we're experiencing now is job interviewing virtually. And so I put together a training that talks more specifically about how to win at job interviewing and get hired specifically for introverts. This free training is going to be called Get Hired Virtually, Job Interviewing in a Virtual Setting. So let's get this thing started. So first and foremost, just a little bit about me. Again, I'm Jay Bryan, introvert expert and speaker. I have almost a decade of experience as a corporate trainer. I have been an introvert my entire life. And here's a little bit of different ways to connect with me. So we'll come back to that at the end. So as far as getting hired virtually, job interviewing in a virtual setting, what's the problem? So there are a few different statistics that I found to be very alarming. Online job interviews have increased by 49% since 2011. How much have they increased since the pandemic started? There's no telling. You only have 7 seconds to make a good first impression. And I can imagine that that's even tougher in a virtual setting. 60% of HR managers use or have used video in the hiring process. So regardless of whether or not you've experienced this, one day, maybe when you decide to change careers or maybe you get a promotion in the job that you're currently in, one day you're going to statistically run into someone who's going to ask you to interview virtually over video. It's a statistical, almost absolute that that's going to happen. So that speaks to some of the problems and some of the reasons that we've been experiencing those problems. But now let's talk about how to actually resolve that and how to actually get hired virtually, how to job interview over video like Zoom, Skype, or whatever format your job interviewer is using. So there's 3 things that you're going to need to remember, and we're going to be talking about each one of these 3. We're going to break them down. So we have virtual soft skills, interview cheat sheet, and you're going to need to remember to seek to connect. So as far as virtual soft skills, we have been trained, introverts. If you've taken my free training or if you've taken a job interview skills class for introverts, then you may already know that soft skills are important. That's eye contact, arriving on time, your tone of voice, speaking clearly, all kinds of things like that. Now, here's some examples of things we need to remember, except we're going to talk about them in a virtual setting. So number 1, eye contact. When we're in person, making eye contact is simple. Look them in their eyes. However, virtually, when you're looking, most people look at their camera. Most people look at the screen, which is normal, which is A-okay. Most people look at the screen of the person that they're talking to. But what they're not doing when they do that is they're not making virtual eye contact. To make eye contact virtually, you have to actually look right into the camera. That's weird, right? You're used to probably looking down at the computer screen as you talk to someone because that's where they are. That's where their face is. But to make eye contact virtually, to make it give the effect of you looking in their eyes, you're gonna have to look straight to this camera right here. I'm pointing my finger in it. So when I look into this camera, it looks like I'm looking you in your eyes. Now, as you're listening to me, you're of course looking at my screen, but it looks like I'm making eye contact. So that's how you do eye contact in a virtual setting at your interview. Speak clearly. Now, in person, it's easier to speak clearly if you're prepared because you can just talk. However, in a virtual setting, speaking clearly has a lot more to do with the quality of your audio on the software that you're using. So you want to make sure that you use a microphone if you have one, maybe some AirPods, maybe even using your computer speakers. But regardless, you want to make sure that the audio quality is picking up well, because if you're speaking clearly and you're speaking with using enunciation, you are saying things in the proper tonality, all of those things, all of it's for nothing if you do not have the proper audio quality. If it's breaking up, crackling as you're talking, they can't hear you, maybe the volume's too low, it's gonna mess up that speaking clearly. So you can answer the question well, you can connect with the job interviewer, but it still will be for nothing. And you will not get hired because the audio quality wasn't as good. So we want to make sure that we double check our audio quality and our video quality. We're going to talk a little bit more about that as we progress in this training. Third, an appearance, the proper appearance, getting dressed for success. So you've already heard dress for the job that you want, dress for the job that you want. But did you know you also want to dress, even though you may be interviewing from home, you still want to dress for success. You want to dress appropriately because virtually people are going to still be able to see you. You guys can see me. I'm wearing a button-down shirt. I'm wearing a button-down shirt. To be real, I'm wearing a button-down shirt. I'm wearing some gym shorts because I went running before this. But you can see from where you can see me, it looks like I'm dressed for success. Now, that's just one part. The second part of that is good video quality. Now, we happen to have devices that have great video quality already. Our iPhones, the iPhones we have right now are stronger than the first supercomputer or the smartphones or our cell phones in general. They're better, they're stronger, the video is clearer. This first supercomputer ain't even have video, but they're clearer and better and stronger than the first computer that was ever made. And it was humongous. Your computer, your laptop, your iPad, those have some great video quality. And you want to make sure that you're showing clearly on the screen because, again, kind of like when we're talking about speaking clearly and the audio quality, if you are not showing clearly on the video, even if you're dressed for success, it's not going to help because you're looking blurry, choppy. You might be wearing a suit, but if it's not clear, good video quality, again, it's not going to translate and you won't get hired. We're going to talk about what that's called, how to check for the audio and video beforehand. So that's just a few examples of virtual soft skills. So keep those in mind as you are interviewing virtually. The next principle I want to talk about is the interview cheat sheet. Now, here's the thing. When I was in school, there was a time when I cheated. I really did. I cheated. In sixth grade, we had to write papers for Mississippi Studies was the name of it. And I remember I wrote a paper. I used to see people, they would cheat because they wouldn't write a paper. They would take an old paper and then they would just erase certain parts of it and just write in random stuff. So they would turn in essentially the same paper that they turned in the week before. Now, the teacher who was grading these, he was known to just glance over them. He didn't really read them. He just glanced over them. So I decided to try that. I decided to turn in my little version of a cheat sheet paper. So I erased some of my stuff and I turned it in and he stopped, he looked at it, he said, what is this? He looked up at me, said, what is this? I said, that's my paper. Kind of had a little smirk on my face because I thought I was getting away with something. He was like, no, you cheated. You erased this part and erased that part. So moral of the story, I got a big zero on that paper. It really messed with my grade in that class. But what I was trying to go for, I was trying to use something that will give me a shortcut, a way to just avoid having to do all the same amount of work. So when it comes to job interviews, you actually kind of have that shortcut built in. What do I mean? Well, if you look at the first example of the interview cheat sheet concept, you're on a computer. You are literally usually on a computer or a phone or an iPad, or you may even have access to a computer, phone, or iPad as you are doing these job interviews. Why is that important? Because you're able to look up real time and take notes real time on things that are happening in the interview. A job interviewer may say to you, "Hey, we do this at this company. This is what we're about. This is our culture." And what you can do, you can say, "Okay, that is amazing. I'm glad to hear that." You can glance on another screen if you have one, or just pull up that company and read about their culture. Read their company reviews. And we talked about this. We talked about this in the free training, the masterclass the other day. If you missed that, unfortunately you missed it, but there is a course that has come out since then, and I'll talk a little bit about that. But use notes such as Google Keep, Notepad, Google Documents, any notes, any form of notes that you have available, use that. Take notes on the interviewer's name, some of the things they say. If they tell you to look something up, or they don't tell you, but look stuff up that they talk about. All of this is important because you have access to be able to basically create that shortcut for yourself and be able to reference these documents real time. That's part of your interview cheat sheet. Also, you can do research. You can prepare appropriately by researching their culture, company reviews, or customer reviews, employee reviews, different things like that. You can even prepare an about me presentation. When I say about me, you can prepare a blurb, like a paragraph about yourself and what you bring to the company professionally and personally. You can add that as well, but definitely professionally. You can even make a slideshow about yourself with one or two slides. That way, when the interviewer asks you to tell a little bit about yourself, you're then able to pull that up and show them. So you can prepare an about me presentation and share that with them virtually. So there are all kinds of shortcuts. Literally, this virtual interview process, the fact that it is on a computer, changes the game. It changes the game because you literally have access to the interview cheat sheet. And then lastly, the third principle I want you to remember, the third key to getting hired virtually is seek to connect. Now we talk about this a lot more in the course, and I'll talk about that in a second. We go more in depth on this. But job interviews are not about job interviewing. It seems that way because they're called job interviews, but they're not about job interviewing. What they're about is connecting with the job interviewer, getting them to see you as a fit into their company culture. How do you do that? You engage with them. You connect with the person in front of you who's interviewing you. Connect with them. So as far as seeking to connect, there are a couple of things I want to talk about here. The first one is a virtual dry run. Now, in my course, I teach how to do a dry run, how to do an actual dry run. In the virtual setting, a dry run is simply checking your audio and video beforehand. Usually, depending on what are most softwares, they allow you to make a free account. It doesn't matter if it's WebEx, Zoom. They're not paying me to say their names or anything. They don't sponsor me. Skype. There's all kinds of different formats that the interviewer may tell you to interview on. They may utilize. Most of these, if not all of them, allow you to create a free account. So in order to do a virtual dry run, create a free account and get onto a video call. And usually you can get on a video call by yourself on any of these and test your audio. Make sure that your mic or your computer speakers or your AirPods or whatever you're using is going to pick up audio clearly. Also test to make sure that your video works properly. This is a very, very important. This is very important. The second part is seek to connect with the job interviewer instead of simply job interviewing. We've talked about that, but there are 4 types of job interviewers. You have your finishers, you have your connectors, you have your supporters, you have your analyzers. Those are the 4 types. There are no more. There's 4 types. Every job interviewer primarily falls into one of those 4 types. And there's a different way to connect with each one. With finishers, you need to get to the point. They're results oriented. With connectors, you need to connect with them, stories, talking about your past, asking about their family, talking about things that are off topic from the interview. They seek to connect. That's their main thing. A supporter seeks to make sure that you're comfortable, to support you in any way possible. A way to connect with them is to accept their support. The analyzer, they're about details, facts. So connect with the analyzer by when you're speaking to them, present them with facts, data, statistics, and answer all questions that they ask because they're not trying to grill you. They're simply trying to get all of the details. So seek to connect with each type of person, whoever's sitting in front of you, whatever type of job interviewer they fall under, seek to connect with them best you can because it's not about job interview. You're going to answer the questions correctly, but it is about connecting with that job interviewer. So you all feel free to reach out for access to this presentation. I'll make sure and go back to my slide before. Just to elaborate earlier, I mentioned the course that I have. So if you're an introvert, if you are someone who has been job interviewing, has been struggling to get hired, I know that was me years ago before I learned this information. If you've been trying for a promotion, I tried for a promotion 7 times before I was able to, or 5 times, I'm sorry, 5 times before I was able to get it. If you have a job interview coming up, if any of those or all of those apply to you, this course is for you. It's called Get Hired Job Interviewing for Introverts. Here's what a recent client said about the course. I completely enjoyed this webinar. Jay was wonderful and so understanding of how introverts work. I've always come back from an interview beating myself up the way I handled it. And now I have a better idea of what I should be doing. If you're an introvert applying for jobs, this is a good place to start. Thank you, Jay. And that's from Sangeeta out of India. She's a counseling psychologist. So she works with clients, and I'm sure some of them may even be introverts and may, want help with interviewing, or she may be an introvert herself and be looking for job interviews, or she is an introvert. So the course is priced at $49.97, $49.97 US dollars. So to grab yours, go to www.introvertedyou.com. Again, that's www.introvertedyou.com. And I'll tell you what, if you're seeing this training and you reach out to me and say, hey, I looked at the Get Hired Virtually training, put in the subject line, Get Hired Virtually, and then put in the subject of the email or whatever message you send me, put in there, I want the coupon code. I will give you a coupon code for 50% off if you reach out in regards to that course, Get Hired, Job Interviewing for Introverts. If you reach out with that information, I will give you a 50% off coupon code for the course. So this won't be forever. This will not be forever. So I'll do this for you all. Let's say until August 1st. August 1st, 2021. After that, there's no coupon code. But anyone who reaches out before then to my email or any of these formats, reach out and let me know that you saw this training and that you wanted to reach out and purchase that course. I will give you the coupon code personally. So again, here are the ways to connect with me. all of my social media, my website, my email, you all. And hey, listen, I'm going to wrap it up with this. Your outside needs what's inside. Your outside needs what's inside you. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you come from, but everything around you, your family, your your pets, if you're big on pets, you know, the career you want, the business you want to start, the friends you want to make, the people you want to connect with, it all starts with what's inside you. It all starts with what's inside you. So always remember, your outside needs what's inside. Again, I'm Jay Bryan, introvert, expert, and speaker. Y'all have a great one. Peace.